All right, welcome. Let's get started. So reminder, we start with breaking things down first. We workshop through some things, and then we get into our flow using those things that we have workshopped as well as other movement as well. So let's go to a very basic beginning thing. This is going to be a big important thing we do in class today. Is paying attention to our breath and to doing what we call free flow, not in flow in a different sense. We'll explain. Free flow and kind of a sense of pouring into the floor. So in movement terms, this might be a review for you. Yeah, but in movement terms, we have different qualities of movement that we look at when I'm analyzing movement. Okay, you can pay attention to this when you're analyzing your own movement. So one of the qualities that we look at is called flow. And flow in this sense is ongoing motion. Okay. When it's ongoing, going. And then there's a spectrum of it. It's kind of like what you're doing with this ongoing motion. Are you containing it and reining it in, or are you letting it pour out of you continuously? So one end of that spectrum, like, is the containing. It's that bound flow. So think of like the Tin Man and the Wizard of Oz, yeah. And you can even do it right now. Tune into your breath and notice, like, what if your ribs were wrapped in metal, encased in metal, and you're breathing here? Do you feel how you're containing yourself? Yeah. And reining it in. Okay, that's bound flow. Other end of the spectrum is free flow. Free flow is when we're more paying attention to letting it all pour out. So that's more like the Scarecrow in the Wizard of Oz, who's just kind of out of control and there isn't any boundary. Okay, reminder with this is that neither one is good or bad. It just depends on what is going to serve you best in the situation that you are in. Today we're going to focus on this pouring out, this freeing the flow. And one of the very basic ways that we like to do this is just a breathing exercise that we do on the ground. When you do it, you're going to come onto the ground and you're going to come in any position that's comfortable for you. So it can be laying on your side, your front, your back. Okay, so here I am, I'm laying on the ground and I'm just going to breathe. I will give you some cues when we get into our flow. I'm just going to help you really settle in and pour into the ground. Now you might argue like, hey, you're not in continuous motion because you're laying there and you're not moving around on the ground, but I am here. I am breathing and I personally am ongoing. So I can either contain myself or I can let it free. Let myself connect more with the ground. So images that help me here, and you can go ahead and lay down in a place that's comfortable for you if you haven't already. Images that help me here is I imagine a cup of water. And if I were to take that cup of water and just pour it onto the ground, it is going to spread out continuously, right? It's not in a container. So I kind of imagine that image in regards to my own body. I imagine myself being that cup of water, pouring continuously into the ground. Pouring continuously into the ground over and over and over again. Okay. Really good. So you might notice as you kind of do that, some feelings come up. I'm having some feelings come up for me. What happens, I'm going to come back up just to talk to you. So what happens with flow? Flow is related to our feelingfulness. It's what we're doing with our feelings. Are we containing our feelings and our ability, letting ourselves feel, or letting ourselves feel? So contain, letting it out. Yeah, and so sometimes when we've been carrying stuff around and we've been binding, Yeah, holding on to tension somewhere, resisting reality or resisting feeling our feelings. When we free our flow, we feel an emotional response, and sometimes it's a little, it stings, it's painful. That's okay. I want you to know you are in charge of how much that happens. Flow happens on a spectrum, right? It's not all or nothing. You don't have to be completely binding, holding it all in, and you don't also have to be just pouring everything out. You get to decide the amount of what you feel okay with. You're in charge of that. You know, sometimes it's really nice to just let it go, though. But you get to decide where you're at today. Okay, so again, back on the floor. Here I am, I'm breathing. We're going to stay for a while and really just free all those little places where we're binding, because you might notice that you carry tension in certain places in your body. That's totally normal. Okay, so here I am breathing. And then we're going to do, it's kind of similar to heel rocks if you were watching class last week. Heel rocks, where we slosh the container, right? We're sloshing that water around and, you know, wanting to the motion to go back and forth, except we're obviously in a different position. So you're going to take anything that can, you can't see me totally. Okay, anything that can make contact with the ground. And I'm going to press into this hand here. And I'm going to just kind of slosh. Now you're at home by yourself. You're welcome to make a sound. Sound is like where beginning of effort, or these dynamic qualities that we looked at. It's where it starts. So something that might help you to really let go is to kind of, I'll show you, like just make a sound like you're letting go, and sloshy. It kind of can sound. I don't know. That's like a zombie sound for me today. Or you can feel like, what would that motion of the water sound like? Making sound helps you change what's going on in your body and in the tension in your muscles and what you're expressing. Okay, so okay, yes, there we go. Yeah, and then we're going to move into a new place on the ground from where we are. We'll be spending way more time on this in the flow, but I want you to practice this part. So practice the sloshing, yeah. And then we're gonna practice just rolling into a new way of being on the ground. So what you wanna watch for is, we're still in this breath pattern. Breath patterning, it's the very first pattern that we go through as we learn to use our bodies. It's all about, your body is just whole. It's not parts and pieces. So you want to watch for, first of all, binding your flow and pretending like your body has parts and pieces, which, I mean, obviously it does, but we're not there yet. So things to watch for is picking yourself up out of the ground in order to move. Yeah, so if I were to be like shifting my hips and then, yeah, see how I kind of picked up and then shifted? You instead want to just pour into the ground like a water balloon rolling along the ground. Pour into the ground in order to move somewhere else. Yeah, the water balloon, if it rolled on the ground, would just mold as it's going. So same with you. You're just going to feel like you're spreading in a different way on the ground. There I am. Yeah, I'll give you more cues. You'll relax. You'll slosh again. Okay. Any questions on this? And again, if you're nervous about being recorded, if you have a question, you can just use the chat. Okay. All right. So that is the first thing that we're going to think about today, is that breath, that wholeness, that freeing our flow. Okay. Next thing, we're going to break down a big X. We're only going to do just the regular core distal big X that we have done before. I want to practice opening on this side, which you guys have all done before. Yeah. So let's just review it really quick, so those who are watching the video can also know how this works. So we're working we're going through all the patterns today, and we won't break them all down, but we're going to focus on that sense of I have a core and I have these limbs. Yeah, there's 6 limbs, arms, tail, head, legs. That was in a weird order. That's fine. Okay, so I've got these 6 limbs and I have this center of me and everything is connected to and through this lovely, dynamic, strong core. And we want to feel that core activate. So we're going to break this down very quickly, very, very quickly. We're going to spend like 1 minute here. So you're going to come into a big X. Thing you want to watch for is that you're not letting the legs go really wide, even though I said a big X. Yeah, you're going to have your legs close together because you want to be relying more on the muscles in the center. That's what we work on so much in here. I'm going to tuck my shirt in. Okay, so we're in this big X. You want to watch for if your ribs come up and they're hardened. Sometimes our ribs, we get so tight in our shoulder that our shoulders and arm movement pulls on the ribs. If this is happening for you, you just bring your arms wider. Yes. Okay. I'm in my big X and I'm going to notice my breath. I'm going to notice my inhales and I'm going to notice my exhales. I'm going to notice when I'm about 2/3 of the way empty, when I'm exhaling. And I'm just thinking about breathing. I just think about my breathing and I go, hey, when I'm breathing out and I'm really breathing out, these muscles change. Yeah, they help me breathe out. You're gonna feel like them kind of compressing into the center of the body. Okay, so when I feel that, that's going to be what starts the movement for me. And I'm going to curl into my side. I will curl towards you. So I inhale, I exhale. I can feel that happening. I'm going to move all the limbs at the same time. So most of us want to lead with our legs. When your legs want to move everything. And I want you to notice that I don't clunk over. Yeah. I use the floor and I come in. Okay, now I'm going to breathe in. I'm going to breathe out. I'm going to feel that compression happen in the middle. I'm going to use it. Inhale, I'm going to open up. I'm sending energy, you can't see, but I'm sending energy all the way out my fingertips, all the way out my toes, like when Beast gets transformed back into a human. Yeah, light shooting out. Then I'm going to feel this again when I exhale. I'm going to feel that compression and it's going to pull me in. I'm going to keep breathing. I'm going to use that. I'm sending energy out on the sides. Okay. Those of you who've been in class have done it, so I'm not going to have you practice. Okay, that's important. Let's break down our body half little book exercise. I think most of you have done it. Okay, so we have this little book exercise that we do. This is the 5th pattern in the 6 patterns of total body connectivity, which we'll be going through all of them in our flow. So this pattern is about noticing the midline of the body. I have a right half and I have a left half. Yes. And I'm going to really focus on this midline, this sense of widening and narrowing especially, because this all happens, relative to the midline of the body. I can feel that in my hips as I do this next exercise too. You're going to be making kind of a funny shape. You're going to come onto your back. Yeah, everything's kind of like right angles. It feels very robotic and unnatural because we are not usually stiff like this. You're gonna come onto your side in that shape. Okay, first thing I do here in this shape on my side is I notice the midline of the body, right? We talked about that. And I'm going to trace this midline. I like to do lots of stuff with the hands on because sometimes when we use touch, we kind of go, our body goes, oh, that's what you mean. Yeah. So I'm just tracing that midline and then I'm going to take the side of the body that's on the ground and kind of remind it like you are the stable side. Real stable. Yeah, I'm going to use my leg to help me. Everything here is so connected with the ground. Stability is necessary so that we can have mobility. The more stable this side is, the more mobile this side can be. Again, I have my midline, stable half, mobile half. It's gonna switch as I move. So we're gonna start here on the side. I'm going to feel the sense of widening as I inhale and narrowing as I exhale. Widening, narrowing, yeah, from the midline. It's like there's a hinge. If my ribs could fold in half, yeah, if my spine, if I could fold my whole body in half from my spine. Yes, we're imagining that. As I inhale, I open. And exhale, close, and I'm going to take my gaze and follow the moving hand. Yeah, and I'm imagining it all starting from this hinge. Yeah, so you're going to do that about 3 times. And then you're going to switch to your other side. You're going to open. Yeah, you're going to come kind of like a little bug onto your back. We're going to switch. My gaze is over here now because this is going to become my stable side. I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to feel this all closing. The whole side closes at the same time. Yeah, so this side, the whole side opens, this whole side closes. Go ahead and try it out. Yeah. So remember, you find your midline before you go. Find the midline. Trace it, trace it, trace it, trace it. Really picture it. It's like a hinge. Open and closes. Yes. Stabilize that side that's down towards the ground. And then you're going to follow your breath to open and close. Inhales open because we widen when we open. And exhales close because we narrow when we exhale. Yes. Good. And you've done a couple of those. You're going to just roll onto your side. And then you're going to close the book the other way. It's like a spine. Yeah, a book. Good. You're going to take it onto the other side. Then you're going to, once again, remind yourself, like, hey, I have this midline. It's a midline on my body. I've got this one side that's down towards the ground. This is my stable side. Then you're going to open and close and open and close. Really nice. And then when you're ready, you're going to open all the way onto your back. You're going to close. Good. Any questions about this one? Cool. Awesome. Okay. So last one we are going to break down is the one that we're using for the 6 pattern, which is a cross-lateral pattern. It's when we finally get into like, hey, I'm a complex being. I have rotation. I can twist and turn and walk. Yeah. Where opposite quadrants are able to communicate with one another. Okay. So for this one, we're going to come back into our big X shape, which we just love in fundies. We love to go in a big X shape on the ground. We're doing all floor work today. You come down into your big X. I'm going to go a little further away from the computer. Nice little patch of grass. Okay, so this is going to be weird for me because I'm just switching from the carpet to the wood floor. It's fine. Okay, first thing is I'm in this big X. I remember not to let my ribs get hard and connect to the movement of my arms. I can keep them soft. If I have to, I can widen. Okay, my legs are not too wide so that they are closer to the midline of the body, which is where all my core support muscles are. Yes. So I'm going to imagine as I'm in this X, we do a lot of imagining things in fundies. 2 cones that are like kind of coming up from the ground. One's going like this way and the other is like this way. So this one down here goes way out. It's like this half circle by my toes. And then there's another one that comes out here. It's a half circle by my fingertips. I'm going to take, we'll go this way. I'm going to take my left toes and I'm going to trace this half circle that I'm picturing. It's really important that I really, really invest in this exact line of what I'm doing. And then I want you to notice as I come across that I have to rotate. Yeah, I need to use my rotation in my toes to help me flip over. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to go all the way up in my front. Let's see, can you see better if I go towards you? So, okay, so if I go this way, I'm here, right? Look at my toes are moving, but if I start to turn my leg, you see how I'm turning my toes and my heel? And that, as I keep on sending myself that way, that's what helps me turn over. Yes. And then I'm going to go back. I'm going to take my fingertips. I'm going to turn so you can see my fingers. So here I am on my front. I'm just going to go back the way I came. I mean, if you have room, you can keep going in one direction. That's fun too. But I'm going to go back the way I came. I'm keeping my head up to talk to you. You will have your head down. I'm going to use these fingers, and I'm going to trace this cone here. Yeah, this little cone. So here I am, tracing, 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 tracing. I'm going to keep sending those that way, that way, that way. This one doesn't need as much rotation, but it does right at the end. You cannot see. Let me try it again. So, yeah, right here. I kind of rotate and pull my arm. Yeah, and I'm going to take my toes. I'm going to go this way. You're watching my toes. You can't see them. Yeah. I rotate up. This. Go pulling, pulling with those fingers in that direction. Yeah, try it out. You can lead with your toes while you're on your back. And then you could also try leading fingers across and coming back by leading with your toes. Play around with that for just a moment. So really send the toes out. Watch for how big you're making your circle. It's not so much about height as it is about pulling yourself away from you towards the ground. Yeah, so your leg doesn't have to like go way up towards the ceiling. It needs to go way out away from you. Yes, good. This is how it would look if you started with the fingers leading you. I'm going to show you again this way. So if I went with my shoulders leading me, my fingers leading me, I'd go across this way and I pull away from me. Yeah, and then the toes. This one, you need that rotation. Yeah, so I'm really thinking about these legs rotating to help me flip. Yeah, you can try it both ways. Good. Any questions? These are called X rolls, or coning is another word we call them. Any questions on these X rolls? This one can feel like a nice little massage on your spine. Kind of wrings it out in a really gentle way. So my question for you, as you have practiced, those of you who are here live with me, are you clunking over? That's something to really pay attention to. That happens when our spine gets really stiff. Yeah, when we're getting really stiff. It also happens if we kind of miss some of the points that we're imagining. If we're like, oh, I'm going here, boom. Yeah, like I missed all of that space, here, down. Does that make sense? I jumped from here to here. So I just want to talk about it for just a moment. We're out of time to workshop. But we want to, again, get this sense. That's why we're going to start with this outpouring into the ground. So if I come onto my back here and I'm laying down and I'm really picturing like this release of like, yeah, you could do your, I mean, if you've done heel rocks are great here, sloshy slosh, or you can just do kind of, that we did at the beginning. Yeah, that's sloshing with our breath patterning. We want to release anything. Yeah, so first thing is just if my back is tight, that clunking is going to happen. But I want you to imagine it's like each little vertebra moving and twisting as you twist. And again, remember, we're seeing this we're investing in that entire half circle up there. So I'm not jumping from here and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, now I need to be here. That's also gonna make you clunk and it's gonna feel more abrasive on your back. Yeah, so if I'm picturing the whole thing and I'm letting the floor hold me. I'm letting it hold me and I'm going slow. Yeah, I'm not so concerned about, I was there, now I need to get over here. I'm doing the whole journey. Yeah, it's easier on us. This is like very symbolic for life. That's why I love movement. It's so cool. Okay, so we're focusing on this entire journey, not just about where we're going. Yeah. Here I am. I'm relaxed. The floor is holding me. Yeah. So I'm thinking about each part of my vertebra. And everything that needs to imagine yielding into the ground. Yeah, so do you see, I'm not like, yet. I've just kind of come, and this is still soft back here. I'm still imagining this place falling into the ground this way until, yeah, and then I'm still going this way. I'm still sending that toe. That is gonna help me go slow. Look at how slow. Yes. That was so slow. It feels really nice. I can do it this way too. I'm just thinking as much as I can, that softening into the ground, that pouring into the ground that I have already done. I'm taking my time on the whole journey, that whole arch. Yes. That help? Okay, let's get into our flow today. I'm really excited about the theme for class that I have picked. This is something that really stood out to me. I've been reading this book by Jess Ekstrom, and something that I read that she wrote in her book, right here, Chasing the Bright Side. She said, the idea that our lives will always have uncertainty means they also have possibility. Yeah. So there's this idea of, yeah, we don't know what is going to come. There is uncertainty for sure, but we can also just flip it and look at it as like, there's always possibilities. Yeah. We do not have to assume that we know what is coming in a good or a bad way, right? But why don't we just like hope and believe that something good is going to be coming? When I think about it in that way, for me, things feel so much more expansive, so much more expansive. But the very first thing that has to come for me to feel safe with this expansiveness, which we're going to get into in class, is we're going to get into that feeling of like, how can I feel safe with like the idea of possibility instead of uncertainty? Uncertainty makes me want to go like this, right? Because it's scary. I'm fearful. But when I settle in and I feel I am held right now, I am held. There is the ground. Yeah. I'm grounded in myself. I can let go. And then it's like, there's endless possibilities. That's so much more exciting. Yeah. So we're just going to focus on creating this feeling as we move through our practice today, this feeling of like feeling grounded and expansive and excited about possibilities. So I want you to start on your back or your side or your front, laying down on the ground, whatever place feels comfortable for you. I will be coming in and out of things. I will only demonstrate if it's something that we haven't broken down in class already. Okay, so that I can talk to you clear. So you're going to lay down in whatever place feels comfortable for you. If it feels safe, I invite you to close your eyes. But if not, just try to soften your gaze so that it's not so much about your experience right now as what you are looking at and what you are seeing. It's more about what are you feeling right now. So find yourself there, laying down, and notice your breath. Notice your breath. Your breath is going to change as you draw your attention to it. That's fine. Let it happen. But you don't need to try to control it. Just notice. What does just the act of noticing do for you? Good. And now as we get more into our practice, we can deepen the breath and imagine it filling the entire body. All your inhales, the whole body fills up with this new oxygen. And as we exhale, we're expelling what we don't need. We're getting rid of this carbon dioxide. We're letting go. Notice how when you exhale, you let go. You feel it. So you feel yourself breathe. Notice how breath brings a sense of wholeness. Each breath is in each moment. It's all you've got is this moment right here. And it's enough. It's enough. You're breathing. You're held. Feel the ground below you. Feel the ground below you. Really nice. Now here, as you breathe and as you're connected with the ground, I want you to notice where you come in contact with the ground. Feel it. Scan the body, the side of the body that's facing the ground. Scan. Notice each little rise and fall. Where does your body connect with the ground? Where is there a natural rise where your body comes up away from the ground, even though it's facing it? You might have space under a neck, maybe under your ankles, your wrists, back of knees. Just notice, like, where am I in contact with the ground? Keep on breathing, nice and deep. And I want you to, again, notice that place where all the places you come in contact with the ground, and imagine those places melting. You're pouring out continuously into the ground so much that there isn't any line between where you stop and where the ground starts. You're bonded. Your cells that are touching the ground have lost their rigid walls, the shape, and are just melted into the ground. Yeah, if you need to, you can sigh out the mouth as you exhale to help yourself let go and pour even more. You breathe out, let go. Really nice. From here, go ahead and allow a part of your body to make contact with the ground. Maybe a hand or a foot that means you need to move. That's okay. And then you're just going to slosh back and forth like you're this container of water. You're just sloshing the water around in this container. Let the motion travel through the body as it will. You don't need to force that. Allow that motion to travel through the body. Then become more still. And then in order to move into a new place, you are going to pour into the ground like a water balloon just molding on the floor. Find a new way of coming in contact with the ground. Notice how you're not picking up to go. You're just pouring and relaxing, pouring into a new place. Once you make contact there, once again, Scan the body. Notice where you are in contact with the ground. Imagine those cells that are touching the ground. Your cells are touching the ground cells and they're just losing their edge, losing their form. They're just really molded in with the ground. So nice. Then you're going to take a hand or a foot, whatever you need, to slosh back and forth. You can maybe use a forearm, whatever you can. Sloshing the container. Once again, we're letting go. We're letting go. Letting the ground hold us. Letting go of tension we might have picked up along the way. You don't need it right now. Let it go. Slosh. You can make that sound. Whoa. Okay? Good. Really nice. Really nice. Become still. Slow down. And pour into the ground in order to come into an X shape. Your big X on the ground. Pour into the ground to get there. So you're not picking up tension. You're just pouring into it in place. You're in your big X. Find your breath here. So now we're going to start to notice. Yes, we are still whole, but we also have parts and pieces. We've got a core, and we have these great limbs. Arms, head, legs, tail. There they are. Feel your breath. This idea of radiating out from a center. Feel your center. As you breathe out, you can feel that center activate. Yeah, and then you're going to imagine that filling up with light from the center, going all the way to all the edges of the body. Yes. When you're ready, you're going to close into your big X, following your breath. Remember, initiation starts from the center. Everything curls in. Then you're going to open onto your side, sending energy out, the fingertips, the toes, the head, the tail. You're going to feel that suctioning, that compression happen in the middle as you exhale. It's going to pull you all the way back in to your center. And then you're going to come back out into your big X. Really nice. Do it again on your other side. Good. Notice what you feel, what you experience as you do this. Is it possible to keep out tension you don't need while you're doing a little bit more complex movement? Good. Once you've come back into your big X, you're going to take your eyes, you're going to look around. I will be demonstrating this part. So you're just going to look around, and you're going to, as you look around, you're going to allow your head to move. Your head follows where your eyes are looking. Good. You're going to look so far over to one side that you roll onto your front. Yeah. Good. From there, you are going to just take your hands down by your shoulders. Press yourself back into a child's pose. Good. Feel your breath here, just for a moment, one breath. Then you come onto hands and knees. From here, we're going to be moving. We're going to be crawling back and forth, but rather than moving because our hands and legs move, I want you to reach your head so far forward, the tip of your head so far forward that you have to move your hands and legs. You're going to go forward a little, then you're going to pull your tail so far back that you have to move. Yeah, go back and forth with that. Feel your nice, strong spine. We're leading with the head, and then we're leading with the tail. Good, and then we're going to become still. Tuck the toes under. We're going to rev back and forth. So I'm going to press from my whole lower body. My whole lower body is getting ready. I'm going to press myself forward. And I'm going to press myself back with my upper body, back and forth. You can keep the knees down, or if you'd like, you can lift them up off the ground, back and forth. Yeah. Feel your powerful body moving back and forth, And slow it down, get smaller. Good, until you're back in your child's pose and take a breath. Feel yourself breathing there in your child's pose. Really nice. From your child's pose, you're going to make your way just onto one side. We're going to come into that little book body half exercise that we did. So you're just going to let one side of the body connect more with the ground, kind of pour into it. Yeah. You're going to come into that little angular shape. Yeah. Before you start, you're going to lengthen the spine. We just thought about that spine. Your head is reaching out one way, your tail is reaching out the other way, your spine is nice and lengthened. Then you're going to notice this midline. Go ahead and trace the midline of the body. Notice it. Yeah. You have one half. You have another half. Stabilize the side that's down to the ground. Good. Feel that nice and stable. Yeah, and then when you're ready, you're going to open and close. So remember, the inhale's open and the exhale's close. Yeah, so inhales, I'm going to widen as I inhale. Exhale, I'm going to narrow at that hinge, the midline of the body, and that's what's going to make my arms and legs. And I'm going to try to open and close at the same time. So it's one whole half acting as a whole piece. Yeah, when you've done about 3, you're going to roll to the other side. And do it again. Trace the midline of the body. There you are in your little bug shape on your other side. Trace that midline. Notice the stable side, kind of remind it like, hey, you're the stable side now. Feel it really connected with the ground. And then you're going to open and close with your own breath again. Your inhales, you open. Exhales, you close. You're going to feel that inhale widen from the very center of the hinge. Exhale, close from the very center of the hinge. We're narrowing. Good. You've done it about 3 times. You're going to roll all the way over onto your back and close on the other side. Good. Good. Really nice. Feel your breath. Inhale. As you exhale, curl yourself into a little ball like we just did a big exo closing. Yeah. And then as you inhale, you're going to open back onto your back, into your big X. Good. There you are in your big X. Now you're going to take yourself into your X rolls. Okay. So you decide which way you're going to go, but we're going to lead with your toes first. So you're going to take your toe, one of your toes all the way across the body, tracing that whole arch. We're thinking about every point along the path. And we're going to keep reaching out, out, out. And the spine is going to act like a string of pearls rather than something clunky that's stuck. Yeah. Each pearl freely moves as we go. You're going to lead back by taking your arm across, opening up the chest. You're going to come back onto your back. Each piece of the journey, each piece. Yeah, we're focusing on each piece. Good. Nice. There we are. Now you're going to go the other way. So whichever toe you didn't lead with, you're going to take up, over, across, focus on that entire arch. Lead across, out, out, out. Feel your toe turning so you can roll over. You're going to take it back. Your arm reaches up, over, opens up the spine, opens up your chest. You're going to come back onto your back, that string of pearls of your spine. Each piece, one at a time, nice and smooth. Good. Now you're going to take your fingers. You're going to take whichever fingers you want. You're going to lead across the body. Following that line, follow it. Keep investing it. It's just out of reach. Keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching. Keep reaching and breathe. Soften into the ground. Feel the ground hold you. Be soft, be soft. Keep going, just a little piece at a time. Farther, reach a little bit farther. You're going to just go slower. Good. Now you're going to reach across with your toes. Your toes are going to reach around behind you, pull away. Your hips are going to open up. Your chest, your belly's going to start facing the ceiling. Then you're going to Just find yourself slowly coming back onto your back. You're going to go back the other way. Other set of fingers reaches across, over. Following that half circle. Keep going, especially on the bottom of that half circle. Maybe it's moving a little further away from you. Keep following it. Keep reaching that string of pearls as your spine. One at a time, unwinds. You're flat again. You're going to reach across with your back leg. Your leg's going to come back over. You're going to reach and rotate that leg from the toes. Feel the toes turning like it's unlocking a door, like a key that's turning in a doorknob, unlocking. Yes, there you are on your back. I want you, before we move, to just check in with yourself and notice the sensations you're feeling. Notice. Notice how you have opposite quadrants that communicate with each other. Yeah. Notice how you have one half of the body and you have another half of your body. You have a midline. Yeah. You're going to notice how you have an upper body and you have a lower body. So much strength and power. I want you to notice just the midline of the body, the spine. Feel your breath in it, from your head all the way to your tail. Each vertebra like a little pearl. Yeah. I want you to notice how you have a center. Like a pulsating star. You have a center. As you breathe out, you can feel it strengthen itself just by your breathing. And as you inhale, you can feel that strength radiating out all the way to the farthest distant edges of the body. Good. And then I want you to notice your breath. Notice your breath. Notice how you feel here. Good. I'm going to do one more teeny little movement. If you've been in class with me, you might have done this before. I learned this in the movement program as well from Peggy Hackney. It's called a breathing egg. Okay, if you know it, you can go ahead and go for it. I will show you if you were new to it. You'll be coming onto your back. You'll be taking and crossing your ankles and your forearms. So I'm taking my right ankle and my right forearm across. I'm turning my head towards the hand that's on the top, like I'm gonna suck that thumb or like I pulled a blanket across me. Okay. Yep, I'm pulling my knees in towards my chest and I'm gonna close my eyes. If you need to see what I'm doing, you can obviously open your eyes. Yes, so it's the same sense of like widening and narrowing. Okay, as I inhale, I'm going to widen. I'm going to uncross. And as I exhale, I'm going to cross across the other way. I'm turning my head, again, towards that top hand. Breathe. And so as I inhale, I uncross. And as I exhale, I cross. Right's on top now. I'm turning towards my right thumb. Feel your breath. Inhale, uncross. Everything happens at the same time. Each side, exhale, cross. Good. Inhale one more time. Uncross. Exhale, cross. Notice how this feels. Take a breath. One more inhale, uncross. Exhale, we're crossing, left is on top. Good. You can continue with this if it feels nice for you. If not, you can just go ahead and allow your body to come down into the ground. Notice the feelings, the sensations in your body, and then just let go. We've really focused on what it feels like inside this container of ours, this body, right? We feel so grounded. So grounded. Let go. You can at any point come into stillness. Let go. Let the ground hold you. Let go of your control of the breath. Be still. Start to place more emphasis on your inhales. Bringing more energy back into the body. Notice how you feel. Wherever you are, I want you to take your hands onto your body. And just, you might rub or you might squeeze and notice, like this is your container. Notice. Feel yourself, where you begin, where you end. Yeah, hands on, everywhere. Feel that. Feel. Yep. Doing your legs, torso. Just taking and squeezing or maybe rubbing, whichever feels best for you. Good, and then become still once again, and I want you to notice what you feel. Just that simple touch. If your eyes are open, close them once again. I want you to go ahead and imagine yourself feeling the space around you so that you're expanding beyond the walls of your skin. You are expansive. Allow yourself to fill the entire room, to send energy out to the farthest corners of the room from your body, letting your light expand, your energy expand, your goodness expand. Your possibilities are endless. Here in this place, yes, there is uncertainty, but that means that there is endless possibility. And you are grounded in yourself. You are held. So maybe you can choose to assume that you can handle whatever comes your way. You can choose to assume that the possibilities are exciting and good. In the way that feels best for you, you'll make your way back up into a seated place. Connect with the ground. Keep yourself feeling that expansiveness of filling the room. Good. And at the end of my classes, we like to take everything. We did this in integrated movement studies. Since it's not yoga, but I like to still have something to tie the end and nice little pretty bow. So you're going to take your hands onto the ground in front of you. Pour your hands into the ground. Yeah. Thank this experience for being what it was. Thank yourself for coming and taking care of you. And thank you for joining me today for class. I wore my Halloween shirt because we've got Halloween coming up. I'm very excited, even though it's going to be weird this year. I'll be here for just another minute. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I'm going to stop recording.